Hey, how's it going everyone? We are going to take a look at Saint Rose expansion DLC that just came out today. First and foremost, I have to say I was excited for this expansion and was expecting a bit more than what I got. And I suspect that this might be disappointing for a lot of you out there that are fans of Saint Rose as well. So overall, this latest content was underwhelming, and to be honest, if you're looking for something a bit meaty when it came to gameplay, this expansion does not do any justice in that department, and to be honest, it is extremely short downloadable content. I personally was surprised, yet sort of got a laugh at it, to be fair, because they even have a pop-up that says "The End" in some sort of fancy font. And when I first saw this, I thought, well, maybe they're just ribbing us, right? Maybe there's something more after this, it's just a joke. No, it's not a joke. There was nothing else to do. There was nothing more to this. So I'm expecting that there's more to this on episode 2 and episode 3. If so, I don't think I will be continuing it. I mean, I just don't think there's really any point to it because of just how quickly the content went by. If you're wondering how it all starts off, and to be fair here, I will not try to ruin any spoilers because, to be honest, I don't know, now thinking about it, I don't think there's anything that I could possibly tell you that would ruin anything. Again, just by telling you how short it is, you can imagine how much creativity was kind of thrown into it. And maybe, again, maybe I'm just knocking it because of just how short it was. I was expecting, again, something a bit more. What happens is, if you're at the church, like I was, you'll receive the pop-up for that downloadable content. Once you do see that, you can then find the mission right there in your phone, and then you just click on it. You will notice that there's another one that they have there, and that's an event for gliding, so if you're into that, it's sort of fun, but again, I don't think it's something that's worth anywhere close to $9, and that's just my honest opinion. I feel like this is something that could have potentially been released as free content. Gliding is not my favorite thing, and the reason for that event is that once you do complete it, you can then unlock this glowing glider, which does look pretty cool, and I'll be honest with you, it does look like something I would have rocked right there at the beginning of the game if I had had the choice to purchase this. And speaking of so, if you're thinking about buying this game and you want to try it out in 2023, I absolutely say yes, definitely go do it. This game does deserve that at least because it is fun in many aspects. The gameplay is fun, the weapons are great, and not to mention there are some amusing cutscenes and these voice actors do a phenomenal job on their side. I did love the customization when it does come down to the character. There are some stuff that reminded me of Cyberpunk, of course, you know, having some of your limbs, you know, replaced with some sort of prosthesis, you know. But to be honest, I think that when they added that customization, I was drawn to it. There's a lot of other things. There's a bunch of things that you can customize with your character. I'm not doing too much justice when I'm explaining that, but to be honest, you're going to love it. So if you're a fan of Saint Rose in the past and the customization, you're going to even love it more now just because of what they've done. So yeah, I definitely think this is worth picking up in 2023 if you are thinking about it. Now, as for the expansion, I'm not too sure so far. Again, this recent DLC, the Heist and the Hazardous, was sort of disappointing. I was expecting, again, a bit more to this than what I received. And I'm sure a lot of you can probably share the same exact feelings. I'm curious as to what you guys think about this content, and let me know down below. Let's just quickly talk about the story briefly here about the recent DLC. So with the Heist and Hazardous, you first start off there again at the church and you'll receive the pop-up. You will go all the way over here towards the springs, and then once you are here, you will receive a quest to go through and find basically this guy that you have to take out that's on the Wanted app. So what's interesting is that eventually you find out that this is actually from one of the stars in the game, and this is going to be Chris Hardy. He invites you over to his mansion. He then basically rewards you with the most terrible thing, pretty much rips you off essentially, and then from there it just kind of goes downhill because yeah, the quest, there's only like 2 missions or 3 missions I believe, and then you're just done. Now, before we go any further, I'm just going to tell you the ending to this heist or to this latest content. So this way you guys can determine if you really want to even invest your time into it, if you think it's going to have a better continuation. But what happens is basically you complete the story and you rob him back. That's it. After he has screwed you over, you go back and you rob him, and then you take a good portion of his stuff, and then yeah, he's traumatized pretty much. And yeah, it's just not. And so overall, guys, everyone, it's just not worth it. I do not recommend buying this. First off, so if you're trying to buy things separately, I would say skip out on this right now. Do not even bother purchasing this. It honestly felt like sort of just something that you again could have received for free, or possibly may have just paid $5 for, like sort of like side content, something like Dying Light 2 does, or what they did with Dying Light 1, where you had those optional themes of stuff that you could buy, or maybe you wanted to have a helicopter, because that's one of the rewards. You just receive pretty much a helicopter, a glider, and I don't believe there are any new guns that I've checked out recently, so do not like quote me on that, but I just kind of went through it and was like, wow, I'm disappointed in this. The positives are that they did fix quite a few bugs with the recent update, so if you have been experiencing some problems with missions and you have not been able to progress through it in the past, then what I suggest is hop on it right now and see if you're able to complete some of those quests, and maybe you won't experience any buggy issues. Speaking of some bugs, I do want to mention this because I did experience this, so if you're on PC, you might be experiencing the same exact thing. I experienced a bug where if I was trying to use the camera in the first mission where you have to scan Chris Hardy's face there, it did not allow me to do so. I thought that maybe I was in the wrong location, maybe I had to change spots because of just where I was, and then what I found out is that it was all because of my display options. So if you go towards the settings and you change your field of view, this will help you zoom in a lot more, so make sure that you lower it down and do not, have it too high. Of course, there is a message that pops up letting you know that there are some bugs that can happen with this if you do happen to do so, and this is probably one of them. And for sort of a recap here and final thoughts and whatnot, I just want to say that if you are planning on purchasing Saint Rose, or you have been thinking about it, I definitely recommend it because it is a game that you can sort of just sit back and chill and not have to worry too much about the gameplay mechanics. It's just like the previous Saint Rose. It's got some goofy moments, it's got some somewhat serious moments, and to be honest, if you're expecting something that's overwhelming, right, and graphics and all that, then it's definitely not going to be in that area. Yet it is just one of those games that is definitely worth picking up if you've been a fan of the series in the past, and it's just definitely worth it. As for the expansion, I'm not too sure yet, but for that first DLC, I say pass it if you are planning on buying things separately. Thank you guys for checking out the video, and I'll see you all in the next one.